Hello, world. So, today I want to talk to you about how does the infinite being show up in your life? Again, call it God, call it divine, call it the great spirit, call it the great mystery, Allah, however you call that great divine, the great infinite being. How does that show up in your life? And on a daily basis, maybe even today, take some time to see exactly how it showed up in your life today. It is Thursday, and sometimes, especially here in America, in November, especially, people think Thankful Thursday when every day should be thankful. But I always put out a post on Thursdays, Thankful Thursday. So, how does the great infinite being show up in your life? I know for me personally, it has been a guardian, a protector. It has been there for me throughout my whole life. The connection that I have had with the infinite being, the great being, God. However, and yes, I am used to saying God in so many ways based off of my education and upbringing with the whole being of things. So it's just God to me is not male, because if it's simply a male human, then it doesn't connect to me in any way. I am not a male human. I am human, but I'm not male. So I don't identify with a male character on that end of things. However, on the great, vast, infinite being of all beings, I do connect with the female source of that, definitely on that end of things. And it's again, God has been part of my life my whole life. Um, has been my caretaker when the one who had control of my life for the first 19 years was unable to be there and take care of me, or chose that something else was more important than being there to take care of me. God has always been there to make sure that I got through that night or that day or that time. God also presented people in my life to have around me to help take care of me in those times. And as I got older, of course, since COVID and the shutdown in the world, I have found myself to be quite on a lonely end of things. It's pretty much just been me and my cat, or me and one other person. On occasion, have one other person around to communicate with or socialize with. But I'm used to having lots of people around me. So these past 3 years have been very, very different and trying and telling. But while I haven't had the same resources I've had in the past, I also know that all of my experiences that I'm going through right now are setting me up for whatever great thing comes forward. And I know for most all of us, if not everybody on this planet right now, we have all been going through some tests and trials. In the back of that book, this one here, it talks about revelations. It doesn't actually talk about necessarily a judgment day. It actually says something more like your judgments will be coming back to you. You will be placed back on your judgments will be placed back on you, is more what it says in here. There's also some great stuff that is on the very, very last page that talks about how the bride and the spirit are waiting on the people to come for to drink the waters of life again, to basically come back to life. And of course, I hear a lot of people talking about Judgment Day is coming and this, that, and the other thing. And the truth of the matter is these past 3 years, 2020 was the breakup. The one that came to divide us all was present and did a very good job in dividing us all. Which was probably very, very necessary. I know I talked about one book that I read that talked about how God would come up and needed to shake everything off. Basically, we all needed to get off of God in a sense, because we are all part of God, but we also have to find our own individuality. So the Great Divider has already made itself present. That's already happened. And since the Great Divider came in, the protocols have been placed to help identify where people stand, whether it be They took the mark, which in so many ways is so many different things. What do you believe in? What are you putting above everything else that doesn't necessarily part of yourself and the greater being? Um, and for a lot of people, that's money. Ironically enough, it's coveting what other people want. So that's one way that that mark has made its mark on the world and has been more identifiable with people. There's a couple other things that also have been revealed with that whole mark part of things. There's also the number. Which number did you take? Which side are you playing on? Are you still thinking that you need to be this person for everybody else and you're better off being that person? You might be taking the number at that point. And then the other part was the mark, the number, and the name. That really comes down to, when it comes to the Ten Commandments, some of those first ones. Of course, they escape me right now. My belly's starting to growl a little bit at me. But thou shalt have no gods before me. Basically, who are you putting again before yourself? How are you connecting to your greater being? That's one thing on there. False idols. Who are you choosing to worship that is not of your greater being? The other one would be taking God's name in vain, or taking your own name in vain. How are you speaking to yourself or about yourself, even in your own head? Those are all things that really come to play with things. So take some time today. How is the infinite being showing and revealing itself in your life today? How has it shown its great vastness in your life through your whole life? Has it been through the presence of being a protector in your world, such has been mine? Has it been the making sure that you have the right people around you in your times of need? That is a God source in so many ways when those things come up. Is it part of the education in which you have received? I know that's been a big part of mine as well, whether it has been through my education, through my elementary days, or through my life experience after I graduated high school. That's all been part of my education. So just take some time today and think about, how has the great infinite being, how has God, how has Allah, how has the Great Spirit, how has the divine been playing a role in your life on a regular basis? And then also, what great blessings and gifts did the universe, the great being, the divine give to you just in today's time? Have a wonderful day, all.